When you say that something is definitive, it better well be. And for the past 3 years, Cuba-based historian, former diplomat and politician Assad Shoman has been digging deep into the origins of the Guatemalan claim to provide a new and unique perspective, just in time for the critical decision on settling the claim at the International Court of Justice.
A lot of the research had been done years before on for other books and other periods, but for this particular book, it's been the last 3 years more or less that I've been working on it. Because there's been a lot of research I've had to do. The stuff from 81 until now, especially, is I have voluminous quantities of papers, emails, correspondence, so it's taken a long time. And then I wrote, and then I found out it was about twice the length of what this is now. So I said, that won't go, so I have to work. It's very hard to reduce something, so I had to work a few months reducing it. And so the first thing I had to be careful about is to be as objective as possible, to be as factual as possible. Right? Since I was involved in the work, it's easy to have a bias one way or the other. And I had to try very hard to make sure that that did not happen. So I tried to be as fair as possible to everybody, including to the Guatemalans, and to just state facts. And as much as possible, which is almost all the time, to support those facts by evidence that is there for anybody to see.
Shoman told us his book is not about presenting the case for going to the ICJ. It presents a broad overview of how Belize successfully resisted pressure from the United Kingdom and United States of America to win the claim before pursuing independence. He gave an example of an incident in 1975 in Jamaica that led to a threat in Washington.
It was that claim that delayed and that could have made impossible our independence. And so I think one of the biggest things to learn or to get from this book is how was it possible that a little country like Belize, right, under pressure from the United States of America, from the United Kingdom, not just from Guatemala, was able to overcome those pressures and become independent without any ties to Guatemala and without its territory. That's one of the major parts of the book. Like one of them was, for example, when, I guess this was in 1975, when you had the Commonwealth Heads of Government meeting in Jamaica, Kingston. And George Price went there and he had support from the Caribbean countries. And he got support from the others, and the British were trying to not have anything stated in the resolution about territorial integrity, because they want to give away the land, right? So they didn't want that in the resolution. And so they took it out. They actually succeeded in taking it out, but said, but the way it's written, it's obvious. And so you know how the British do. What I didn't know is that the Foreign Minister, Callahan, went on to Washington to meet with his people there. And he actually said, if George Price continued with the foolishness, we'll have to take our troops out. Take what I'm saying? So I said, what? I never knew it had reached that kind of a point, you know what I'm saying? So it was a very difficult game that Price and the rest of us had to play. We had to keep the British on our side. We couldn't alienate them because they were the ones defending the country. On the other hand, we couldn't do what they wanted, which was to give up land or give up sovereignty, right?
It was a game Belize ultimately won in September of 1981, though British troops continued to stay in Belize for another decade and more. But as Belizeans continue to contemplate the decision awaiting us next April, Shoman says even Guatemala is not sure of its case.
2000, Guatemala started its campaign that we must take it to court. And then during that process, I think it was in 2001 or early 2002, we published a legal opinion written by 4 international lawyers of great repute, right? Headed by Sir L.A. Lawton. That was so definitive, that was so clear, that was so obvious what that said. That after that, the Guatemalan leaders and negotiators started to take back. They didn't want to go to court. And it took us a long time and different ways which you'll see in the book, to kind of bring them back to the idea of going to court. They had turned against it after they had seen that judgment, but also after they got a judgment from a European judge that they asked privately to write an opinion for them. His name is Eric Soy, Belgian fellow, he died recently. And he told them, you're Catholic. So they didn't want to go to court. And we in effect had to pressure them to the point where they agreed to go to court.
Aaron Humes reporting for News 5.